it is 9 p.m, which means it is time for Thursday night's Easypal net on the VK3RML repeater, 146.700, negative 600 kilohertz offset, and a 91.5 hertz tone to access this repeater. The Easypal net is a sanctioned activity by the repeater owner-operator Amateur Radio Victoria, and we thank them for allowing us to use the repeater for our hobby. Easypal is digital slow scan imaging software, and we use it to transmit and receive digital slow scan images between ourselves and anybody else who's wanting to listen either on air, or if Chris is running the live stream, on the live stream, or even recording of the live stream. My name is Tim, VK3FTZD, and I'll now be listening for any more check-ins for tonight's net. Currently I have VK3AML, VK3FTJS, VK3BOT. Were there any more check-ins for tonight's net?
VK3CJN.
I have added Chris, VK3CJN. Final call for any more check-ins for tonight's net before we kick it off. Alright, nothing else heard. So we'll start at the top of the list, VK3AML. How's your week? How are you? And ready to receive the next image when you're ready to transmit. Back over to you, VK3AML, VK3FTZD.
VK3FTZD, VK3 Alpha Mike Lima. Reasonably okay week. The shut-in hasn't affected me badly, except woke up a few days ago with difficult to breathe at 3 o'clock in the morning. Got up, was coughing, and as a consequence I've got some lurgy. I just hope it's not COVID. We went for a COVID test today, so I'm waiting on the results of that. I expect to get them before the weekend. In the meantime I have to shut myself away like the mad aunt who's kept up in the attic, you know. Apart from that, working on some stuff for the Saturday night transmissions that I do related to operation of ham radio in Melbourne in the 1890s, and yes, there was some of that. Anyway, I see a lot of stuff on internet related to the Tesla crowd, not so much the crowd that are interested in AC power, which is fine, but the people who believe in free energy, perpetual motion, and Tesla's ability to transmit power through the air. So I felt that I had to make some sort of a scientific reply to some of them, and I came up with this illustration which is to scale, which shows how piffling Tesla's attempt at transmitting power was compared to even a modern broadcast station antenna. VK3AML with an Easypal pick on the drop of the repeater.
VK3RML, VK3FTZD. A little bit lower to your normal standards, 18 dB here. VK3FTJS. Terry, how did you go decoding this one?
22 dBs, a little bit down on normal, just a fraction, not much, it's probably just levels. Yeah, spot on.
VK3BOT. Stan, how did you go with this image?
No lock. Yeah, I've got his call sign in the box, but no lock and no DB. He came up to FAC and got no further. Just a wee bit on the soft side for me.
Distance, Steve.
And the other problem that I've got is that I've actually had to switch to the beam. The antennas, there's something between me and the repeater that's not playing ball.
Yeah, you're horizontal or vertical and the repeater's opposite.
No. On the beam, me and the repeater are all vertical.
I thought you might have been opposites, that's all.
No, because you're on FM and I know what the polarisation is. So when I built the beam, Terry, all the beams here for UHF, VHF, they're deliberately built to be to run vertical, not horizontal.
That's the case you have multi-pass issues then.
They never showed in they did not show in the waterfall.
Seems a bit odd. We'll see how we go through the night. It might just be Chris's connection, might not be. VK3CJN. Chris, how did you go decoding this image?
Yeah, decoded, no problems. But as you said, it's a little bit down on the signal to noise at 19 dB, but full decode, and yes, that's an interesting picture. And I did see that post that you tagged me in on Facebook too, Chris, so I've seen the whole thing. Good stuff, good stuff.
Yeah, coolio. Over to VK3AML for comment on this one.
Okay, we have another listener who's both listening on 2 metres and commenting via the text box on the YouTube live stream, Matt Bird. G'day, Matt. And he got a full decode at 18 dB in Pascoe Vale South, so no problem there. Sounds like a problem particular to Stan's locale. Maybe local interference or maybe standing waves where the antenna's located. I really can't say. We are running the audio slightly differently this week. I may have to tweak the frequency response a bit. But I've had to do that for the sake of running the Easypal on the YouTube stream, which I'm doing at the moment. The Tesla nutters always go on and on about how Tesla's stuff has never been equalled or whatever. And you can see from that photograph, which I purposely scaled to the right scale beside a modern audio AM broadcast station tower, that Tesla's stuff is tiny by modern transmitter standards. 180 feet. There are some amateurs that have towers that high. It looks impressive because the Tesla tower was made of wood, so it had to be braced in all sorts of ways we don't have to now because structural steel is so much stronger. But really, by modern standards, the Tesla tower, though it looks impressive in a photograph, is really rather pathetic. But then you'd expect that. It was 1899. VK3FTZD, VK3AML.
Yes. Awesome. Good image. And yes, I remember it being posted on Facebook. Okay, we'll pass it over to Terry, VK3FTJS, for the next image, and we'll see how Stan goes receiving that. VK3FTJS, VK3FTZD, how's your week? How are you? And we're ready to receive when you're ready to transmit.
I'm doing well. Fully vaccinated, fully happy. And ready to go with an image when you are. VK3FTJS with an image at the drop of the hat.
VK3FTJS, VK3FTZD, even though got the repeater stomp on you, still full decode at 22 dB here. Excellent, excellent job. Yes, smartphone zombies. I remember when I first started playing Ingress, when it was in beta, Ingress being a game that uses your phone and GPS location and tells you to walk around everywhere, much like Pokemon Go, but before that. And a lot of smartphone zombies happening during that thing. VK3RML, Chris, how did you go decoding this one?
21 dB up to the time Terry was clobbered by the repeater ident, and it came back to 18 dB afterwards. No problem at all. I agree very much with that. There must be so many pedestrian write-offs because of that, and people really have lost touch. The last thing I would be doing if I'm walking along a street is simultaneously reading emails. I really, there are times in the day I want to be away from internet. VK3 FTZD and group VK3RML.
Well, true. I believe in some countries it's actually illegal to be walking across the road holding your phone or looking at your phone. VK3BOT, Stan, how did you go decoding this one?
No decode. However, what I did do was that I switched from the vertical to the beam, and what I did get of it was 12 dBs. So it's very good. Now, I'm not going to be able to receive Chris because he just gets lost in the noise. There's not enough audio from him to make it. So, but I should get Chris and all the rest of it. Now, just as a point of interest, something that just as an adjunct to what Chris AML just said, in the university area, they have yellow strips at the edges of the road, and that is for people who happen to be watching their smartphones, and apparently they are introducing those in the Central Business District of Melbourne. So there you go, it's idiots. And my mate used to work at Melbourne University, and he said to have people walking into the cars. They would literally walk into the side of the car because they were too busy on their smartphone or the tablet and didn't notice whereabouts they were going. Oh, bother. Back to you, Tim. VK3BOT said that.
Yep, it's certainly a thing. VK3CJN, Chris, how did you go with this image?
Very good, very good. 15 dB here. Final picture up to about 19 before the repeater ident got involved, but a full decode without any problems. And all I can do is echo the sentiments of the others about people who walk around with their phones, their faces stuck in their phone. When I was working in the city, a number of times I'd go out for lunch and there'd be somebody walking straight at me with a mobile phone in their hand, watching what was happening on the mobile phone. And I'd just stop and let them run into me and then abuse them for, they'd say, well, what did you do that for? I said, well, I was standing here and you walked into me. Yes, make them look like idiots. But of course, they don't have the sense to be idiots. This transmission was brought to you by VK3 Charlie Juliet November.
Yep, that's certainly a silly thing. Okay, Terry, bit of a explanation on this. I think is there one needed? VK3FTJS, VK3FTZD.
I'm just amazed how many times it happens, mate, and they should take warning labels off everything and let natural attrition happen.
AML with comment.
Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Matt Bird, listening in from Pascoe Vale South, got a full decode on that at 12 dB. VK3 FTZD, VK3 AML.
Excellent. Thanks there, Chris, and thanks there, Matt. Okay, we'll take it over to Stan, VK3BOT, for the next image when you are ready. And how's your week, and how are you there, Stan?
How am I? Slightly frustrated. I've been trying to get I had some problems when I was up at Yarrawonga with antenna leads and antennas, and of course I didn't have the gear up there to fix it, as you don't. And I've got down here and I've managed to fix the antenna base, but I've still got to turn the antenna ready to go onto the vehicle, and I've been angling at that for about 2 days and keep on getting waylaid. So we're a little bit frustrated, but I did get the base sorted out, and I've got another base that I'm working on. I've got to switch the antenna brackets from one side of the car to the other, and all this sort of stuff. But of course it's been raining, hasn't it? And it's been cold, hasn't it? And I've been busy, haven't I? So there you are, at the drop of the repeater. I shall make my first transmission for this evening. VK3BOT said that.
No lock here. Level's too high.
VK3BOT, VK3FTZD. I don't know what happened then. I got a decode failed, but I've got all remaining segments, 163 out of 163, 22 dB, which is actually what I got Terry at last. But yeah, nothing. Don't know what's going on there. VK3RML, Chris, did you happen to get a decode on that one?
No lock at all. My impression was that it was a bit too high in level. Back to you.
Okay, possibly. I wasn't watching that screen. I had a couple other things doing paperwork-wise. VK3FTJS, did you get a decode on that one?
Nah. What I'll do, if you want, I'll get Chris to send me a quick data burst, and then I'll get Stan to do it, and then we'll be able to see what the comparison is in dB if you want to do it like that.
Can I just put a comment in before we do that?
Go ahead there, Stan.
Okay, I'm going to make an executive decision because I am really struggling with the signals that are coming in, and it's pretty obvious that you're having the same with me, which means the path between me and the repeater tonight is no good. This does happen. I've seen it happen before, and it doesn't matter. Any amount of fiddling and diddling on my part and your part is not going to improve it. So I'm going to bow out for tonight, and I will come back next Thursday. Because I just don't think that it's worth persevering. The only way that I can receive from the repeater is on the beam. The vertical's not cutting it, and that tells me that there's a path problem between Frankston and then a repeater tonight. Like I said, it does happen, just doesn't happen very often. VK3FTZD, VK3BOT. I'll bail out.
Yeah, what I'll do, Stan, during the week, if you don't mind, I'll run a pass between you and the repeater, and we'll see what's in your way.
Yeah, you can do it. I think it's just conditions, because normally, Terry, we're fine. It's just that every now and then, and for no reason that we can explain at all, it's just that I just have static on the signal coming in, on the audio coming in from the repeater. Now, that's not normally there, and it's certainly not there on REC. So it's obviously something between me and the repeater. Now, when it rains, I know that you don't do it. If it's raining cats and dogs, between me and the repeater, forget it, it's not going to happen. So I think we'll just find out that it's conditions, and there's really not much that we can do about it, mate.
Yeah, I was just thinking it may be, your 3 lobes you get with a beam. Yeah, you're not on one of the outer lobes, are you? Just remember you've got to be in the middle one.
No, if you point the beam at the repeater, everything should be fine. But no, it's just one of them things. Anyway, I'll bail out and come back next Thursday, because all we're doing is wasting time.
No worries, Stan.
Pardon me, coughing, people.
Well, hopefully should fix it. There's probably a bit of dew sitting on a tree somewhere in the path, and when it's raining, it covers that tree in water, but at the moment there's just a bit of dew on there or something maybe. Who knows? Who knows? It'd be something causing issues. That's all right. Sad to see you not able to contribute tonight, but that's all right. We'll see you next week. 73's there, Stan.
73's Tim, 73's everybody. VK3 Bravo Oscar Tango now clear.
Cheers, Stan. Sorry we couldn't sort it.
Stan?
Okay, we'll continue on. We're up to, where are we? We're up to Chris, VK3CJN, for the next image. Over to you, Chris. And how's your week, and how are you?
VK3FTZ, VK3CJN. Yeah, week's been interesting. Been playing with the HF antenna. discovered that I had it considerably longer than I needed to have it for what I wanted to do. It was about 3 metres too long to be a resonant length on anything useful. So I was making the tuner do all the work. So now I have it cut to something closer to a good length and repositioned, replaced the feed line and got the thing so that it's got one leg north and south and one leg east and west, which ain't ideal, but it's better than half a leg north and south and the other half of the leg east and west, and then half of the other leg north and south and the other half east and west, or something like that. So yes, my transmission pattern should be better, but I'm yet to have any successful or reasonably successful transmissions, because conditions are fairly ordinary. So, having said that, I'm okay. The whole family's okay, which is good. At the drop of the repeater, I shall send something for you to have a little chuckle at.
VK3CJN, VK3FTZD and the Easypal net. Yes, definitely true. Full decode at, where is it, 19 dB. VK3RML, Chris, how did you go decoding this one?
16 dB, full decode, and I agree, except in the case of my wife and I do the snoring. The first thing I'm aware of is her trying to roll me onto one side, which apparently stops it. Of course, I wouldn't know. VK3 FTZD, VK3RML.
VK3FTJS. Terry, how did you go with this one?
I know all about that. Sometimes I wake myself up with my own snoring. Unbelievable. And how the hell to prove movie, Chris? She got to know on this secret how she moves a big guy like you and she's so small.
She pushes really hard. It's amazing what anger will do.
Oh, in the ribs.
Wouldn't want to do that to my wife. Excellent. And did we get a report from Matt there, Chris, or Mr. Bird?
Nothing as yet, but then there's a 30, apparently according to one guy, 13 dB, he got it. He's just flashed that up, but there's a 32-second delay between what you transmit and what they see on the screen. Because of the unreliability of the internet connection here, I have latency set to maximum so that we don't get buffer underrun. VK3FTZD, VK3RML.
Yeah, no worries. That's cool. All right. Okay, over to Terry. Oh, over to Chris, sorry, for comment, VK3CJN.
One of the guys that made that comment was me, Chris. That's one of my Google logins that I use for this, for looking at YouTube stuff. So there you go. That Osmosis 1951 is c'est moi, as they would say in France. I don't think that needs any further comment. I think most of the things I'm going to send tonight aren't going to need much further comment. So let's just enjoy whatever you've got to send us.
No worries there. Thanks, Chris. Okay, I haven't got anything 3D printing yet for the night, but I do have a fun project that I've been working on and repairing. Yeah, this is a drone that I picked up in a non-working condition. It was essentially cheap for the parts that it had. It had batteries and RC gear and all that sort of stuff, so I grabbed it because of that, and I've managed to actually get the whole thing up and running. So this is VK3FTZD with an Easypal image at the drop of the repeater. VK3RML. Chris, how did you go decoding my image?
You're being a peeking Tom at the neighbours again, aren't you? Okay, I'll be very interested to hear how that camera goes, presuming it looks like an old webcam you've somehow 3D printed into that. Nice image, and 20 dB, so very good. VK3FTZD, VK3RML.
Thanks there, Chris. There's no 3D printing on this at all. It's carbon fibre.
Oh.
And no, it's not a webcam. VK3FTJS, how did you go decoding this one?
You there, Terry?
Terry, you there, VK3FTJS. Are you still around? Did you get a decode on this image?
Yeah, 20 dB, full decode. My button on my microphone didn't press in when I said it.
No worries, it's random. VK3CJN. Chris, how did you go decoding this one?
decode, but only 13 dB. So I think conditions are affecting some of our transmissions by the sound of it. Not to worry. Not to worry at all. So full decode, and it's pretty pink.
Yeah, it's actually purple propellers on it. So this is a 5-inch racing drone that I've essentially rebuilt from the ground up. Had to dismantle everything because he put the motors on backwards. Everything had to be resoldered because it had been a very rough job of soldering, and I finally got it together. So the top, it's got a camera on it, which is a wide-angle view camera, sort of almost, you could class it as a fishbowl lens, I guess, but it's a wide-view angle camera, and it's designed that it's not so much that you're spying, because the resolution's not there to really pick up much detail. You'd struggle to really pick up the license plate of someone, that's for sure, but it's meant for fast refresh and fast action, so you can see on your goggles what's happening. And so this transmits at 5.8 gigahertz to a set of goggles I've got, so that you can see where you're flying. And it's called an FPV drone, first-person view, and it's like you're actually sitting on the drone racing it. Apparently these things can get up to 100 kilometres an hour. I'd be surprised if this hits 60. That being said, it's a very scary machine because it can pick up a lot of speed and it's fairly large, so it can hit someone pretty hard. Each of those propellers has a diameter of 5 inches. So yeah, it's not something you want to be flying around people, that's for sure. So hopefully, while we've got COVID and while I'm still at work and it's quiet at work, I can go find an oval where there's no one around and fly it. Fingers crossed anyway. It's a matter of having the time to fly it, the chance to fly it, as well as the practice. And my simulator cable's not working, and I'm trying to build a mini FPV drone to do the same sort of thing. So there you go, no 3D printing. Pass it over to Chris, VK3RML, for the next image. That's the explanation of that done. VK3RML, VK3FTZD.
Thanks. And Matt Bird in Pascoe Vale South says that he got your picture with 16 dB and compliments you on a great job. So he's getting you quite well. And parts of Pascoe Vale South down by the freeway there are quite difficult for the Mount Dandenong repeaters, so he's doing quite well. Okay, next photo I've got is from an audiophile site, and I'll talk about this amplifier after we've transmitted the picture. VK3RML with an Easypal pick on the drop of the repeater.
VK3AML, VK3FTZD and the Easypal net. Full decode on that one at 20 dB, so you're up from your last transmission. I'd be very interested in knowing more about those two amplifiers. Some hefty pieces of equipment. VK3FTJS, how did you go with this image? I think your microphone might be playing up again there, Terry.
VK3 FTJS, yeah. 24 dB full decoded, RF amps or audio amps?
Audio, there's a story.
Interesting. VK3CJN. Chris, how did you go with this one?
A good piece of kit, that. A decent transformer and a meaty-looking choke on that with some big caps on the rear end of it. Be interested to hear that story. 19 dB here in beautiful downtown Lilydale, and Matt Bird said 20 dB in Pascoval South.
Excellent. Just adding both of those into the chart here. Excellent. Okay, we're over to AML. Chris, for comment. Very interested to know all about those amps.
Looks impressive, but I don't think you'll be terribly impressed when you hear the performance or the cost. As you probably are aware, there is a certain breed of audiophile who believes that valves are better. And this particular amplifier, which is monoblock, left channel on one side, right channel on the other, separate chassis. Now, hold on to your hats. It produces 2.5% distortion, not terribly good. It's single-ended triode operation, and it produces a maximum undistorted output of 9 watts, 9, at a cost of $3,200. All I can say is, if that's the audiophile business, I'm glad I'm not in it. VK3FTZD, VK3AML.
That's not the greatest specs, considering you can buy a cheap amplifier for like $10 that's got those sort of specs, probably better than those sort of specs. So yeah, fully agreed. Yeah, some people are purists. We get it in every hobby. No two ways about that. Excellent stuff. Over to Terry for the next image. VK3FTJS for the next image.
Hey, on the chopper repeater.
full decode 21 dB. Oh dear. VK3RML, Chris, how did you go decoding this image?
22 dB most of the time. It went to 23 for about 10 seconds, so you're doing extremely well, Terry. And if he was a seal, I can assure you, having been close to a seal on a couple of occasions, the smell's not too good. How would you like to smell of rotten fish all the time? VK3FTZD, VK3AML.
Yeah, not very pleasant. Awesome. VK3CJN, how did you go decoding this one?
Jolly good. My first impression was that it was a seal, so there you go. 20 dB here as an additional add-on to an additional add-on. Yeah, okay. I'll learn to speak English one day. An add-on to Chris's story. The same company make an amplifier that has two 15-watt single-ended Class A amplifiers on the one chassis, and its price is $9,499 Australian. So yeah, horrible equipment, very, very expensive. But I like the seal. I like the seal.
That's it. Okay, over to Terry for comment. VK3FTJS, VK3FTZD and the Easypal net.
Just before Terry, I'd like to say that Matt reports that at 19 dB, and he says it's just 100% like his dog.
Take it away, Terry. I think your microphone switch is playing up again there, Terry.
Where we at?
You're giving comment on this image.
Okay. He's, yeah, just as he is. He looks like a nice big harp seal, yeah. Yeah, I ran across a seal one day when I was a kid in Port Melbourne on the beach. And, yeah, it was a sea lion. And, yeah, boy, did he have bad breath.
That's not good. Okay, or over to Chris, VK3CJN, for the next image when you are ready.
There'll be nothing fishy about this transmission at the drop of the repeater.
one though. VK3RML, Chris, how did you go with this image?
Could have been worse. It could have been circumcision. VK3, and that's just as bad a joke. VK3FTZD, VK3AML, 16 dB.
Oh dear. VK3FTJS, Terry, how did you go with this one?
Yeah, 15 dB full decode, Tim.
Excellent, and I got 19 on that one. So awesome stuff. Over to you, Chris, for comments while I get my next image ready. VK3CJN, VK3FTZD.
Well, there was the other knight that was there on that day. He was a very large gentleman. His name was Circumference. Good night from me.
Stop it.
Oh dear. That's yeah. Okay, I've got an image that I took while I was on a site the other day. This is VK3FTZD with an Easypal image. Hopefully there's enough resolution in this to see what I am seeing. At the drop of the repeater, an Easypal image. VK3FTZD and the Easypal net.